Welcome to Heart of the Hustle. I am here with Sangita Datta, who is an amazing friend. She's super active here in my hometown of Frisco, Texas, and she is running for seat 4 on the city council. So we brought her here today to tell us all about herself and why she's running for office and why we should vote for her. So thank you for being here.
Sherry, thank you for having me on this. This is my honor to be over here.
So tell us about you. I have read your bio. I've known you, but even just reading your bio and prepping for today, I learned all these new things about you. So first, start with Mother Teresa. Do you know Mother Teresa? You worked at her organization. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I studied in Loreto House in Calcutta, and I had the honor of actually serving with Mother Teresa in her home in Calcutta. And now I realize the importance even more because that's what we grew up learning, just helping the community and serving over there. We didn't realize, oh my God, what a big thing it is because that's the way life was for us, helping each other. We've grown up always just learning that.
Wow. How did you get involved with her? Was it just like she was just down the street and that's just what you did?
No, 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 no. We had a neighbor, the Anthonys, who we literally grew up with. And we used to go for midnight mass every 24th night. And they've been very actively involved for the charities and the homeless. So we've been very actively involved with them. And they introduced us to Mother Teresa. That's where the journey actually began. And it just became a norm of life.
So tell me the number one thing that you learned through that experience.
We're supposed to help each other. That's the norm. It's not something that you should be excited about. That's the way living should be, helping each other. And now that I come to life as of right now, it seems, oh my God, you're actually helping them. It's such a good thing. I said, why? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be that way? So yes, that's slightly different. And that just comes naturally to us, I would say.
I love that. And it's interesting. Sometimes service comes from different religious organizations, or sometimes we have parents who are into it. My dad was very into service, but it's not something that's embedded in our culture anymore, certainly not here in the States.
Well, I will not agree to that part of it, but I'm involved because honestly, yes, Mother Teresa is one big factor in my life which shaped our thought process and perception of life and helping people. But that being said, my grandfather, Mr. B.B.L. Datta, he actually saved 7 lives from a burning aircraft in Delhi. And he was awarded the highest gallantry award, which is called the Ashok Chakra. And also from the Chinese authorities, he was awarded a medal at that point of time. That was my granddad, way before election season. My dad, on the other hand, Captain R.K. Datta, was the only pilot, along with one more, who flew the Indian airline, which is a government airline of India, just transporting refugees back to their home during the strikes that was held. And he was warned about, threatened for life and so on and so forth. And he didn't care. He just wanted to help others without thinking about himself. So that's the family that I come from. And dad's been a great, you know, what else can I say? He's given us so many reasons to be proud of, honestly. There's a building named after my dad in Hyderabad where we were living for 14 years. And it's a central training establishment where pilots were trained over there. So there's an entire building named after my dad.
Hello, you must be so proud.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm doing nothing. My family's given us more enough reasons to be proud of them. And again, as I mentioned, it's just a way of life. We just see this is normal. That's why it's just way of life, I would say.
So how did you get here to Frisco, Texas?
Coming to Frisco was by chance. I came to visit a client of mine at that point of time, and she showed me around Frisco. I loved what I saw, the big buildings, the beautiful city, the star, and everything else it had to offer. And I said, okay, let's move here. And it just worked out for the school, for the job, and everything. And that was about it. So moving over here was maybe literally a calling, I would say. Literally. And we moved over here. We stay in the Lone Star Ranch right now. We love our home. We love our neighbors. And Frisco has welcomed me so much, so much. And it's all about Frisco for me now.
I love that. Did you come straight to Frisco?
Did not. So when I moved to the States, it was New Jersey. I had moved over here with my two young boys. Okay. And for us, a couple of things were important: education, security, and feasibility to travel to the markets and everything, right? And if I have to get back to India, where my family was based out of at that point of time, I can rush because that's what it was all about. Looking at all those criterias, I chose a place in Plainsboro, West Windsor, New Jersey, where we settled in. So if need be, I could run to the police, I could run to the groceries, I could run to the school because I wasn't even driving at that point of time. I learned everything when I came here. It was quick learning. I'm a quick learner. And when I put my mind to something, when I focus, oh,
Forget it. Watch out, world.
that's right. So, yes. So, it was all about New Jersey to begin with. I loved it then. And I was very involved in Frisco as well. I was serving in the Human Relation Council over there, did events, served at a popcorn scout mom, worked in the Dallas, it was called the Lazio. Like how we have the FC Dallas over here in New Jersey, it was called the Lazio team. So I was involved there. Always been involved in the community, always been involved in everywhere the kids were, basically, literally, because that was my world. So wherever they were, I was involved more into it.
And so when did you come to Frisco?
2018. 2018 is when I came to Frisco.
But I know from reading your bio, it wasn't easy when certainly when you were first in Jersey, because you talk about kind of your arc from being using food stamps, all the way to kind of where you are now. And we'll talk about that more later, but tell us a little bit more about that, because that's something that we wouldn't think when we first meet or see you, but it's got to be an important part of your story.
It was, and I usually don't want to speak too much about it because that gets me emotional. But it's a strong part of my story because, when we come over here, we think about we got it all and we'll manage, but it doesn't always happen that way. At that point of time, my husband was not well and he joined us over here. It was at that point of time where I either make it or break it. So I used to work in the school district from morning hours till 3 o'clock in the afternoon and 3:30 in the afternoon till 11:30 at night at Macy's. I did that stretch of work for maybe around 8 months to just make ends meet. And that's the time when I was actually on food stamps because I just could not afford it otherwise. And I was getting $352 a month at that point in time. And that was a huge check. So think about it, but at that point of time, I realized how important what we have is most important. What was that? Education, focus, the attitude of learning. Those are the principles and morals that really spoke well to me. And so I took advantage of all those things, studied my licenses, studied the finance, and then got into the school where I could learn finance, got into my job, which honestly started with New York Life in 2016. And all I knew was focus, study, meet your goal and purpose. And that's exactly what I did. And then getting 1 year into it, 2 years into it, I'm 9 years into it right now. And I'm on the Forbes top 250 in America. That's the thing because you know what? I was reading all the numbers over there. Everybody else that I share the platform with are 25, 30 years in the industry. So that's an accomplishment. So you know what it comes back to boiling down to? When you put your mind to something, you can definitely do it. There is nothing impossible. Right heart, right intention with the goal and purpose in mind, it will happen.
Amen.
Amen.
So why finance?
I was from the education field. So I did think about doing my praxis exams and getting into the industry of education. But with all the studies and everything that was required to complete your praxis, it would not allow me to do what I had to do, which was pay my bills. That's the reason why I got into finance. And I've always been a community volunteer. Always been around people. So that my recruiter at that point of time, Mr. Thevan Thiva Kumar, I have to say thank you to him. He's a game changer for me right now, honestly. So he said to me, Sangita, you're already there in the community. Come into this field. Allow me to show you what it means. And he was right. Because what I say right now is I'm still helping people. But the only difference is I'm being paid for it. That's about it. That's why finance.
We love being paid for helping people.
100%, 100% would love that. But you know what? I do that way too much. I would be a billionaire if I had to be charged for everything.
So you grew up with this service mindset, and you moved here to Frisco, and knowing you and how you are, you just dug right in and started meeting people. And so where did you start? Which organizations did you get involved in? And talk a little bit about where you started with your service here in Frisco and how it evolved over the years.
Right. So it is funny. So I met this gentleman named Kevin Westerfield. I met him at a networking event in the evening. All right. And he says to me, Sangita, you must come to the Frisco Chambers of Commerce at 7 in the morning to network. I said, 7 a.m.? He said, yeah, 7 a.m. He said, you got to be kidding me. 7 a.m. networking? He said, just come one time, please. I said, okay. So I actually went on a Thursday morning at 7 a.m. to Frisco Chambers of Commerce. And since then, I've never missed a day. The energy, the people, it is amazing. In fact, Sherry, I think we met there as well. That's a beautiful space, and the people that I have created for relationships have literally become family. So yes, Frisco Chambers of Commerce was my turning moment where I got involved, and then Leadership Frisco, City 101, Citizens Police Academy, you name it, I've done it all. So it's been a great experience. Great experience.
So what made you decide to run for office? Why now?
Because I've been doing all the work without the title. All right. I've been helping businesses. I've been helping youth. I've been helping incubate business. I've been doing it all. I've never looked for a title, but that way I've been able to help only fewer people who know me. So when I get the title, I want to help more people who don't know me. And that's what the title does for you. I've been told so many times, Sangita, do you really need the title to make an impact? Absolutely not. I'm making a positive impact already. But guess what? The reach is limited. When I get the title, more people will know me. And I know I have the capacity, I have the capability, and I have the resources to help people. So I want to share that same giving aspect or serving aspect with everyone. And I think Frisco needs a leader like myself right now who listens to people, who understands, and who's not afraid of speaking up and taking a stand. That's what it is.
So why do you think Frisco needs someone like you now?
I think Frisco needs a leader who listens to the people, who understands them, and who doesn't mind acting for them on their behalf. We're forgetting the main goal of Frisco, which is people first. I just feel that's being forgotten a little bit. And transparency is being not communicated properly. So, education is a big part of our role, which needs to be done in a proper way. There's definitely a disconnect between city council and the residents, and I think that needs to be a clear cut way of getting that done. So having something like maybe an ambassador program where the neighborhood can come as an ambassador and a quarterly meeting or stuff like that so they can share their thoughts and the city council can speak about their challenges so we all on the same platform. It's really important because one thinks that the other's not doing good to them, but that's not always true. And it's all about perspectives. It's very important. So, having a clear communication and educating people about the pros and cons and limitations and restrictions are super important. That's what's needed right now.
Tell us some of the things that you're hoping to bring to Frisco in this role, some of the things that are important to you, where you'd like to help make them better or help change them.
Frisco is growing massively. We are really growing right now to be around 240,000 people, and we're still growing, which is a good thing. Everybody wants to come to Frisco. But with that comes lots of challenges. The biggest one would be the safety and security, right? Our police force, our fire department, even our public works, they all need help. They need proper resources to keep doing the great job they're doing. They're all amazing. Our city staff is amazing. They do a great job at everything. So they definitely need more resources, 100%. Apart from that, I'm pretty good at fiscal responsibility. I can really stretch the dollar amount. And with that comes inviting in sponsorships, encouraging partnerships. There's so many things that we can do which we're not really using right now as much. I have a lot of resources from back home in India as well, where we have a lot of companies who want to come in over here as they have loads of money from everywhere for that matter. I have met so many people from the AI industry, venture capitalists who have the money, they want to invest over here. So let's invite them in, bring their dollar amounts in the city so they can create local jobs for our residents over here. How does that really help? When they create jobs over here, we tie up with universities, train with them. We get jobs right here in Frisco, create those paying jobs that they can afford to live back in Frisco. So literally we work, play, stay in Frisco, we actually make that happen. It's all doable. It's all doable. It's just the way we get it taken care of in a way that doesn't cost the city much, but at the same time, the city benefits from it. And guess what happens then? When we get more companies in, we reduce our taxes further. So everyone's happy. And with that, we also reduce congestion. Super important. I want to see Frisco as the next AI hub for innovation, with all companies coming over here to create those jobs so we can reduce our taxes and reduce traffic congestion and allow our families to thrive over here ongoing, just the way we are doing right now. One more thing that I'm over here for is also on behalf of the small business owners. We are a small business owner, right? So what happens over here now, Frisco being Frisco does attract large companies, but there is definitely a disconnect with small business owners. So I would want to encourage collaborations and partnerships and ways and means of making things happen there as well. So our small business owners can actually thrive. They are the blood work. They are the lifeline of the city. We need to keep that happen. We need to keep them going. So the last few years, there have been so many companies, small business owners have to shut down after being waiting for the construction and holding up for a long, long time, and then they're not able to manage the expenses. It's sad. It's very sad because, they've been coming consistently to the chamber works in the morning, and it's not easy. Waking up at 6:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 to 9 every Thursday, it takes an effort. All right. When that happens, and then they come and their business opens for just a few months, they have to close down. It is sad to watch that go. So we got to do something about that for sure.
Are we pricing out the small businesses? Is it just too expensive to do business in Frisco?
I guess that's the case, maybe. So everyone's Frisco is becoming a place for the rich. I don't know the right thing to say, but that's a kind of a fact because everything bright and shiny is coming around, and we're forgetting the people who actually made Frisco Frisco. So we need to get a balance. We love the PGA. Don't get me wrong. I love the PGA, but at the same time, we need to take care of the Preston Trail as well. So we need to reinvest in people who actually made Frisco and keep them in the same place. So we all are Frisconians, but when you drive through the Frisco streets, one is super shiny and the other one, is this Frisco? You question yourself. So, yeah, a lot of change, a lot of corrections. Let's keep it that way. A lot of corrections need to be made.
Yes, I think we do. We have become very big boxy. Right. And it is you don't see a lot of those smaller local businesses, the smaller restaurants, the things with a little bit more character to them. Right. Those businesses just aren't here. And I think that those are the type, for me anyway, having lived all over the country and visited all over the world, that's where the heart of a city often is in those small businesses.
Absolutely, it is. It certainly is. So, I'm telling you, I don't want to speak much about it because I can name so many of them because I deal with them personally. So I have a personal relationship with many of them, and I know how difficult the struggle was to keep their business open, and then they have to shut down because they could not even meet ends. It's just sad. And is there a solution for it? Absolutely, there is a solution for it. We just have to find a way to make it happen. For whatever reason, it's not happening.
Yeah. One of the things I love about your platform is you talk about having kids. I mean, now I see them as kids now, but having our kids be able to find jobs here, right? That let's continue to create innovation and have other innovative companies coming in so that our kids can create a life here in addition to us. And I just hadn't really thought about it that way. I have a son in 8th grade. And so I always just assumed he'd go somewhere else. But man, I really want him to stay here. And so I love that idea of like building an infrastructure of new, especially high-tech companies, becoming a high-tech hub, kind of like Austin is. I mean, I lived through the boom and the bust of the dot-com era in Austin, but it was someplace you could always find a job.
Right, right. So, you just said it all. And actually, you answered your own question. And what I mean by that is, all the kids right now in school and colleges, they all talk about high tech, high tech, high tech. No one wants to go to the ground level and do the handyman's job. They really don't. There are people who want to, which is great because we need more of them. We can't survive without them. All right. And there's a scarcity right there. Because having spoken to every department of the city council or city right now, city offices, there is a scarcity where people don't want to come into work in public works. They don't want to. So, you know what? We have to gear up. We have to collaborate AI into the public works so that there is a way we can get those things taken care of. Now, when the kids see that option where the tech can collaborate the public works and stuff like that, yes, we will find those jobs. So it has to be a combination of it all. It has to be a combination. We still have to create those attractive jobs so that people want to do it. And so that they're not outcast because it's all tech, tech, tech right now. Okay. I'm old school. Okay. You'd ask me to do anything tech job related. Oh my God. It's French to me. All right. I just cannot. But at the same time, where kids are concerned right now, that's what they want to do. And that is tomorrow's market. Everything AI related. And that's where we're gearing towards. So what are we doing over here? We're creating those spheres. We're creating that environment for the children to be trained in that field so that they can get the jobs and they can come back to Frisco to work, make that money because Frisco is expensive again. Make that money, they can actually live back over here. That's important. Very important for future sustainability, for our economy to thrive throughout. That's a requirement. It's important. And we want to see our families happy. We want our kids to have their families over here thriving. I would love to see that happen. That's important.
I just want them close. I mean, if he's thriving, that's cool, but I just want him, right next door with his kids.
That would be nice for sure. That would be nice. But yes, but we need to give them enough environment and room for them to grow and make sure that they're not choked or suffocated. I mean, they need to make their ends meet. They need to, not ends meet, but have some room for vacations too.
Yeah, have a great, lovely life that, in the way that we get to have.
Exactly. That's what it is. Make Frisco people first. That's important. Let's make Frisco people first. I think that's what we are forgetting over here. That's what we are forgetting. I see Frisco as a larger family. Simple, straight. I see them as a larger family. So we need to be community centric, family first, and just common sense leadership is required. It's just common sense. Emotion is good, but being practical and fiscal responsible is super important. We may want to do many things, but do we have the means to do it? It's very important to make that balance off. So that's important. And when you're at the city level, you really cannot take a chance with people's money that way. Personally, you can take a chance and you can put up money in a stock or whatever. That's on you. But the city is concerned, you can't do that. It's for everybody. You cannot. It has to be for people where legacies are left behind, where families keep thriving, where jobs are there. Let it be a small city feel which is growing and thriving. That's what it is. As simple as that. I always keep saying, let's just go back to the basics. It's as simple as that.
I love that. So you mentioned congestion.
Uh-huh.
Tell us more about that.
Oh, well.
Because if you live in Frisco, it's getting kind of crazy.
It is. It is. But Frisco cannot be blamed for all of it. Just saying. And there's a lot of construction happening everywhere, which comes down to Frisco. But there's a lot of construction happening right now on Main Street and stuff. Right now is a problem era, 100%. But when it actually comes out to be, it's going to be beautiful. No doubt about it. But that being said, we have the Universal Studios coming in. We have FIFA coming in, which is great. But with that, we'll also bring in a lot of traffic. And the problem with that is we have nearly stretched as much as we can for the road expansions. I mentioned repeatedly, our city staff is amazing. They are doing a great job at maximizing the resources that they possibly can use. So our road expansions are great, but there's a limit as to how much we can do. So within that period of time, we got to create that. Now, creating local jobs using AI for numbers as the red lights and stuff like that, having data driven cars and stuff, all those numbers together can reduce congestion. It is all doable. And when I say that it's all doable, Sherry, is because I'm already in talks with people who do all of this and they've given me math and numbers where it is there. So, me running for city council has got nothing to do with what I'm doing. I am a doer for many years. All these years, I was doing it without the title. Now I'm looking for the title, so I'm making a larger impact. That's about it. Nothing has stopped, nothing has changed. This is me from day one. It's not campaign season for me. This is everyday season for me.
But hopefully a bigger stage where you can have a larger impact, right?
That's my main goal. That's my main goal, honestly. We both have met so many years ago, and you know how I work as a small business owner and just helping people around me. It just so happened that I'm over here on the heart of the hustle today, but that wasn't really the cause of us coming together.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're the person who's always like, "What can I do to support you? What can I do to support your business?" And I use you as an example when I coach clients frequently. And what I say is when you go to a networking meeting, I want you to find the maven, right? Sometimes it's a guy, sometimes it's a woman, doesn't matter. But there's always one person who you see knows everyone, right? They're walking around, they're saying hello to everyone. They know everyone. And you're that person in the Frisco Chamber, right? Because you're not just going around handing out business cards like, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You're going around and you're being of service first, because I believe that the biggest way to build businesses is to be of service first. And I actually talk about that when it comes to content creation. Be of service first, and the rest will follow. And you are such a good example of that.
Thank you, and I believe in that. I actually practice what I preach, and I really do believe in that because I don't have answers to everything. I really don't. But I know people who probably would have the answer. So all I do is connect. That's all I do. Connect people, make things happen. If you grow, we all grow together. We just grow a happier, more content community together. That's what it is.
So one of my favorite Sangita memories is your Diwali party that you had a few years ago. It gave me an excuse to pull out one of my saris from one of my pilgrimages to India.
Oh, wow. Sherry, and you did an amazing job carrying it off. Everyone cannot wear a sari the way that you did, honestly speaking. That's a tough one to pull off.
So I had to get an auntie to go to the restroom with me and help me tie it.
Right. But that is something, Diwali is a Christmas to us. Let's put it that way, okay? And when I say us, I'm talking about the South Asian community. And it's very important because Frisco is a melting pot. It's very important to understand each other's cultures. Apart from the food and the fun that I bring to the table, it's about educating each other about the cultures. So when I had my Diwali party, if you remember, you had many questions that you were asking me yourself. Why? Why do you celebrate? Why do we have the lights on? And so on and so forth, right? So there's always reasoning behind a celebration. Same for Kwanzaa, same for Christmas, same for Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever you speak about. They always have a reasoning behind the celebration. So understanding those cultures and traditions are super important to me. That helps us to understand each other better and appreciate us more. Again, coming back to education. Educating each other is very important on all levels. That's super important.
Especially because Frisco is incredibly diverse
It is. It is. And that's the best part of Frisco.
and very welcoming.
Always. Always. And that's nice. That's nice. And I think the more we do it, I think we share the best memories and make memories over food. That's what it is, right? We make more memories over food. Spicy, non spicy, whatever. So I must say this thing to you. There was my friend, I may not want to mention her name right now, but she came from a Diwali party and she picked up a couple of long green something, okay? And she was munching on it, munching on it, munching on it. I said, "What are you just doing?" She said, "I'm having green beans." I said, "Those are not beans, those are green chilies." Oh my God. And then she had to soak herself with milk and everything else. It was funny. It was funny. But that was a lasting memory. And it was so much of fun because, you're just making memories right now that you can laugh over years and years. And even today, we still laugh over that. So it's fun. It's just fun.
My mouth is sweating with you just saying that. Like literally, I can feel all of
I can imagine what she went through because even I cannot munch on chilies like the way she did. And she was saying, "Oh, these green beans are so good." Did she not? So that was funny. That was really funny. That was, again, one of my Diwali memories.
So tell us about your boys. You mentioned your boys earlier that you came here with. How old are they now? Where are they? What are they up to?
Two young men now, 22 and 24. Yes. So we came, they were kids obviously when we came, but you know what? Now I'm going back to the same thing. Abhik and Adit. Adit is a younger one. From the age of 7, he's been always doing fundraising and giving money to nonprofits and organizations who need help. We had a Nepal relief sometime in 2016, I would say, maybe perhaps that was the year, I guess. And or maybe performed. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the dates. But he made origami flowers during the Mother's Day event, and he sold all of them for $1 each. He sold 3,000 of those, and that entire money he gifted to the Red Cross Army. He actually gifted that. And since then, every year, literally every year, he's been doing that. At the age of 9, he was actually recognized by the radio channel and the government in New Jersey, and he received an award for the same reasons. Today, he's 22, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Last year was his 21st birthday. As a mom, let's go party 21st. He says, "Ma, you know what? As a 21-year-old, my friends just need beer and chips. They don't need more than that. But the homeless can do way more than we need." So he collected all his funds and he actually gifted it to all the homeless around and fed them for a weekend. That's the heart he has. All right, that's what he does. The older one, Abhik, he's an artist. He loves to draw, paint, poetry. That's his thing. He's been doing caricatures at public events and donating that money. And these are tips. He does not charge. He takes tips and he gives it to nonprofits. So, giving to nonprofits has been a family thing from day one. And day one, when I say it's from the time we've come to America in 2012, since then, I've been feeding the police, the fire, and the nonprofits on Thanksgiving, Christmas, wherever. Nothing has changed. It's been happening till now every year. So as a family, we take pride in doing that. And that's our way of saying thank you to them. But that's all we can understand we can do because they've done so much for us, so much for the people. And that's our way of saying thank you to them. And it's been a beautiful journey, beautiful journey. I always have some kind of a celebration, and I call it the celebration of gratitude because gratitude needs to be celebrated as well. Being appreciated and appreciating others is super important. Unfortunately, we're coming to the era where we speak louder when we are angry and we quiet when we are happy. Change the model. Let's just change the model. Speak loud and clear when you're happy. And if you have a problem with somebody, take them on the side, let them know about it, hoping that they'll understand. That's what we do.
One of the things that I love about you is that you are this incredible blend of very strong focused energy, but also very feminine and loving and service based. And so tell us a little bit about how you found that place, because I think a lot of women struggle with that, and particularly women, as you're moving hopefully into public office, right? Tell us a little bit about that journey and what that was, what that was like with you. How did you get to this place?
You're a mother to begin with. You already have a soft heart there, right? When anything comes to your kids, it's a different story altogether. But at the same time, when anyone hurts your children, you know what you get. You become a lioness if required, right? So time teaches you everything, all right? So that being said, when times were tough for me, I had an option. Either I cry and sit back and cry for pity, or I smile, become stronger, and move ahead. I chose the latter. I studied, I became stronger, and I moved ahead because I had to put the roof over my children. I had to pay the bills and I had to feed them. That kept going. And as a woman, or any person for that matter, it's very important to have a balance. Just because you're a strong woman does not mean that you cannot cry. That shows that you still have a heart and soul which is vulnerable, and you feel that part of it. So it's okay to cry sometimes, but that does not make you weak. It does not make you weak at all. It makes you more stronger. So it is very important to. I've been told this actually. So I'm glad you asked me this question, because there was a time when I was told a leader does not cry. A leader does not cry. And I felt so bad about me actually shedding tears that time. But then I said, you know what? No, I don't think so. I'm a strong woman, and I don't deny that. I'm a very strong woman. Coming from food stamps to coming as a Forbes 250 in America, I know I'm a smart, strong woman. But at the same time, I have a heart and soul that still relates to people in trouble. I'm still approachable when people come and speak to me, and they can cry their sorrow stories in front of me without feeling offended or being looked down upon. That's what I want to be. I want to be that approachable person where people don't have to think before talking. They're not nervous about, oh my God, if I say this to her, will she say this to somebody else? Will she judge me? That's the person I want to be. No judgment. Speak your heart and mind just the way you are. Because you know what? When you customize anything, it costs more, right? When you customize a cake or clothing, it customizes way more. It costs way more. We all are customized. So why should you want to fit into a box? Be you. And that you is beautiful. Unapologetically be you. That's what it is. That's important.
And you're absolutely that.
I like this version of myself.
We do too. We do too. Thank you for being such an inspiration to me and to so many other people in Frisco. And good luck with the campaign. Tell us when we can vote. So early voting opens April
22nd.
Until
29th. And that's very important because early voting is April 22nd to the 29th. And the day of election day is May 3rd. Just one single day. And owing to the weather around here, I would suggest please don't wait for the last day. You never know what may happen. It may just snow in May. You never know. Every day is a different story altogether. So please go out, step out. April 22nd, just put that in your calendar. Go out and vote because your voice matters. Your vote counts. We need this to happen. We need a change. And I need the community support to make everything happen. Me alone is one single vote. I can do nothing with it. Nothing. But I need the community support to make this change. So please come out to vote.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We loved having you here.
Thanks, Sherry. It was an honor to be over here. Thank you so much.